I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another review. This is another Patreon request, this time for Andrew Chilton. If anyone wants to request pretty much any type of video, review, movie topic, reaction, again, pretty much any type of video, you can request it, either send it directly to my PayPal or join me on my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. This is for a film called Oz the Great and Powerful. Now, I wasn't a big fan of this film. I don't know if I really rant on it, maybe because I saw another fucking film dealing with Oz called The Steam Engines of Oz, which was a huge piece of shit. Way worse than this. I don't mind James Franco as an actor. The movie had some cute stuff where the characters that joins up James Franco, you have a good flying monkey who's got like a bellhop outfit. You have this girl made out of, I guess out of, China, out of porcelain, like this little porcelain girl. I like the look and the effect of that. Now, it's directed by Sam Raimi, and it tells a story. It's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. So James Franco plays this circus magician in Kansas, and he's a con man. The strong man who works with the circus is pissed at him because you flirted with my wife, so he runs off. He gets into a hot air balloon. All of a sudden there's a tornado. He gets whisked away, and now he's in the land of Oz. He meets Mila Kunis, who is a witch, and she thinks he's one of the prophesized, the wizard that's going to help the land, and pretty much the adventure goes on from there. Now, as I watched this film, I went, holy Raimi, he kind of remade Army of Darkness. What are you talking about? Army of Darkness in this, you have a guy who arrives in a magical land, who they think he's part of a prophecy, but he's kind of bullshit and conning his way through it. Then people kind of realize he's a little bit of a fraud. At least some of them realize he's full of it. But he gets the group together, makes plans, builds stuff, and gets them ready for this battle. And there's witches. Just like there's witches in fucking... Obviously... At times I'm like, this almost seems like a fucking remake of Army of Darkness at times. Just the general idea. Again, a guy at a land that he doesn't belong, prophecy, conning people, then building stuff and getting plans together. Explosives. And I guess with this film, I did not care for the overabundance of CGI. That's one thing I did not care about. I wish there was more practical sets, practical effects. Because the overabundance CGI, this is a time where they would make these fantasy films, and whether it be Alice in Wonderland or this movie or Snow White and the Huntsman, or they're just so overboard with CGI, it just takes me out of it because I don't have the sense of awe or wonder or going, wow, that looks so cool. It just computer. And yes, there are exceptions. There are times that didn't look beautiful, but part of you just screams out, just have at least a fucking blend. Have some practical monsters, or have some practical stuff, or have some practical sets, or have some... When almost every scene looks like it's in a green screen, probably because it was. Yeah, it does take me a little bit out of the movie. At least a little bit. And it just... That is a big problem for me. Maybe not for a lot of people, but it is for me. Now, to be fair, is there some interesting stuff? Yes, the beginning of the film. Having the beginning of the film take place in black and white and 4:3. Then as he enters Oz, it goes from black and white slowly into color, but also the screen stretches out from 4:3 and it stretches so it's widescreen. I thought that was a clever idea. Some of the characters he meets. Again, this nice flying monkey who has a bellhop uniform. I don't think he was too annoying. He wasn't too irritating or anything. I didn't mind that character. This little porcelain girl that James Franco fixes her legs, and she pretty much beige the joint and ultimately does. I thought that was a cute character. That's a fet. That's one of the special effects I did go, hey, that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty neat. James Franco is okay, but part of me wonders maybe this would have worked better if he was a different actor. And that's the thing with Army of Darkness. For me, one of the reasons that film works is because of Bruce Campbell and his charm. I like James Franco as an actor. I just wonder if you needed another character or another actor that could have brought a bit more of that charm or a bit more of that lively energy to it. And I hate saying it because I like James Franco as an actor. I was alright with him in this movie, but I've seen him do better, whether it be The Disaster Artist or even, yes, Your Highness, The Pineapple Express. Of course, he worked with Sam Raimi before on the Spider-Man movies. Mila Kunis, I've never been a big Mila Kunis guy. Never have. And then she's the witch that will become the Wicked Witch with the green and shit. I'm sorry, I don't buy Mila Kunis in that. I don't. The other witch, the other evil witch, Rachel Weisz, I bought her more. I remember her from Constantine and the first two Mummy movies, and I liked her more as an actress compared to Mila Kunis. And the good witch is, I believe, Michelle Williams. She was fairly good. Likable. The Oz character, he's a very selfish character. He cares about himself, but then throughout it, he does change. I would say in the middle, I wasn't that impressed with the creativity he was trying to have for the world of Oz. Because all I saw are either evil plants that look like rejects of Super Mario Brothers, or the bit where James Franco is diving into the pot of gold as if he's Scrooge McDuck. or where they steep on bubbles, which maybe that might have been part of the original Wizard of Oz novel. I'm not for certain on that. But I don't know, I just wasn't that impressed with it, and because it's before Wizard of Oz, you're not going to get the Tin Man, you're not going to get the Scarecrow, you're not going to get the Cowardly Lion. There is a lion in it, which I don't know if that was meant to be a precursor to the Cowardly Lion, because early on a lion attacks him, and then Oz does this thing, and you see the lion run off with like a scared look on his face. So I don't know if that was supposed to be a precursor to the Cowardly Lion, or was that just a tip to the hat to it? I don't know for sure. I think when he's in Kansas, there's a woman he talks to that I think becomes the mother of Dorothy, I believe. I guess just because nothing, it's not like Dorothy ever finds out, hey, you used to go out with my mom, or you used to know my mom, or so again, nothing really comes of that. I guess they just put that in just because. Reference, or for whatever. I did think it was interesting because I see so many movies where it ends with a big fucking battle that it doesn't really end with a battle. It ends with this big old con. Because he is a magician, because he is a con artist, it ends with a con. So it's tricks and projectors and fireworks to make them believe that he's this great powerful Oz, and that he uses brain instead of action. I thought it made sense here because in The Wizard of Oz, Oz was a con man. That you think he was this big, godly figure. But no, he's full of shit. He's who's the man behind the curtain? So it does fit with the story of The Wizard of Oz. And yeah, the fact that obviously because it's a prequel, you can't kill the two witches because in The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy lands on one, and then the other, you gotta wait for her to get melted. So you're limited to what you can do. That's a lot of times my problems with prequels is just when it's a prequel, there is a limit you can do because you have to follow, well, this comes next. So you're more restricted. That's why I'm not a big prequel guy. I mean, one of the only, there's some I could deal with, or some I feel it's okay, but they're not my favorite line of films. Although I do love Missing Action to the Beginning, which was supposed to be a prequel, but the whole story with that. It's supposed to be this one. And there's a whole story behind why that became a prequel. But I love Missing Action to the Beginning. Probably my favorite prequel. But again, it being a prequel does give it restrictions of what you can and can't do. The overabundance of CGI is irritating and just takes me out of it instead of pulling me in. I thought the world of Oz could have been more creative on a visual look. I mean, I liked some of the characters he hangs out with, like the porcelain girl and the monkey, but not too much other than that. The ending was interesting because of the trickery used, and again, instead of a big battle, it's more of a trick and a con. It was a different way to go. I kind of appreciated that. Made things a little bit more unique. I like James Franco. Again, part of me wonders if another actor would have fit more in the part. But yeah, I don't mind him as an actor. Michelle Williams is the Good Witch. She fit the part well. Mila Kunis, I'm sorry, I don't buy her. I'm just not a fan of the actress. And then when she's the Wicked Witch, I bought her even less. There's a Wicked Witch, you're like, ooh, shit. You're scary and intimidating. I'm not intimidated by Mila Kunis' Wicked Witch. Not at all. And then when she tries to laugh, I'm like, nah. You don't have the Wicked Witch laugh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Rachel Weisz, I thought worked a bit better as an evil witch compared to Mila Kunis. I mentioned some nice directorial touches. like the black and white, the color, the 4:3 widescreen. It's one of those films I watch and go, I would never watch this film again. I think the fact that I watched this after the Steam Engines of Oz, which that'll be uploaded before or after this, I think that helps, because I'm like, I might not be a big fan of the film, but it's miles better than Steam Engines of Oz. But at the same time, I'm not the biggest, like, I like The Wizard of Oz. I do like the movie, and I like Return to Oz, which I reviewed Return to Oz on here, on my channel. I like those films, but they're not my favorite films ever. I like The Wizard of Oz, but it's not like one of my favorite films of all time. I liked it, and I appreciate it. That's as far as it goes. So, maybe if you're a bigger fan of Wizard of Oz, you'll be more mad about it, and I can understand that. Even as the film itself, it's like Sam Raimi, it's crazy to me that when he had no budgets on Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, I think he works better as a guy with a limited budget. I really do. I think he works better as a guy that you don't give him much, so he has to be more creative with the effects and, okay, stop motion and puppetry. I think Sam Raimi works better on that, in that format, in that arena. Because then I see the films where he's getting more of humongous budget, they're just not as impressive to me. I'll go back to Darkman, the Evil Dead films, but Drive Me to Hell, it could fuck off. This movie, meh. And funny enough, this was the last film Sam Raimi directed. This was 2013. Now, he's produced stuff. He produced the Evil Dead remake. He produced Crawl, which I enjoyed. He produced The Grudge in 2020, which was a piece of shit. He produced Poltergeist remake. That was a piece of shit. And I think he directed the pilot for Ash vs. Evil Dead. I believe he did. He directed the pilot for that. But the director wasn't a problem. It was the script that I had a problem with. But yeah, it's funny that this is the last film he directed. 7 years ago. And I'm like, maybe this film didn't do that well? Or did it kind of kill his career? Or did he choose not to do any more films? Or something else happened? I don't know. I don't think this film was a hit. I think people assumed this would be as big of a hit as that Alice in Wonderland movie. And then, from what I understand, it made maybe half as much, which was a disappointment. Big disappointment for the studio, so maybe that hurt his career. It's sad to say, I'd rather watch this than Alice in Wonderland, because James Franco, I don't know, the movie didn't annoy me as it didn't have Johnny Depp doing the fucking futter whacking, what the fuck that was. Just think about it, made me, my throat fucking close out. Shit. As forgettable, I think the movie overall is kind of forgettable, but I just didn't hate it as much as the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland movie, which I thought that was fucking awful. And Steuer and the Huntsman I did not like at all either. But this one, I don't know, just maybe it's slight connections to Wizard of Oz helped a bit. Some of the other stuff I mentioned, but it was what it was. It was what it was. So, you know, like I said, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's not a raging hate either. See you guys later. Bye-bye.